Bonfire Banter. We are back. We got a fun one tonight. We have Scott Brown out here for the first time tonight. This is Rob's dad. Yeah, and the crowd goes wild.
Wherever they are.
Yeah, they're in back. We got them in a green room back there. Okay. Have to keep it quiet out here on the set.
I get it.
We got the fire guy. Richie Leesley's back out as well.
What's up?
Richie? We're going to be talking some vinyl tonight, right?
Gone for a while, but not forgotten.
Not forgotten. Never forgotten. That's for sure.
Right. Man, it's been a while since you've been here, right?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Richie was at every...
First, 20 episodes.
Yeah, he was on every single one. And, but, you know...
A veteran.
He's got a lady now.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll screw you up good.
A lady now, so he's busy. So we understand.
He's back for this one.
We appreciate him
back. Yeah.
That's right. We appreciate him coming out and talking to vinyl. He brought some of his favorite vinyl choices today. We got a couple here too. I kind of selected some famous ones, well-known ones, some with like some stories behind them.
Like the artwork on some of the ones you've chosen.
Yeah, what do we got here? Well, we got.
That's why albums are better. That's why vinyl's better.
Salt and pepper?
You can't see crap on CDs.
See, those are gone too, Dad.
I know.
What are you talking about here?
Excuse me. I'm old.
They still got little thumbnails of like album covers, but that's pretty much it.
Still nothing.
Right? Yeah.
You get the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Not the same
You
packaging.
used to get a poster or something.
I mean, something like this just alone looks cool sitting on a stand like this at your house. I mean, it's a piece of artwork.
Right. That's pretty much it. Sgt. Pepper, I think, is not only is it one of the most famous albums of all time, one of the most successful albums of all time, it's also one of the most recognizable album covers.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Which they set all that up. Those are all like cardboard cutouts, right? Behind them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different favorite famous people.
And that was a huge album, not even just for that, but just for how revolutionary it was.
Yeah.
And the music they did on that album.
What are some of the main hitters on Sgt. Pepper's?
Well, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Want to look at it?
I was going to say, are they on the back here?
Yeah.
The first one is...
That was, you named it already. Side one is that. A little help.
My friends, yeah. Ringo.
Them two. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Hello.
That's a classic.
Yeah. Getting Better, Fixing a Hole, She's Leaving Home. And then you go side two, Within You, Without You. When I'm 64, Lovely Rita. Good Morning, Good Morning. And then you got the reprise of the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band again.
Yeah.
And then you got A Day in the Life.
Day in the Life. That's
Day in the Life, yeah.
Every song is a hit.
It is. Well, and to be honest with you, almost all the Beatles albums are like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Almost every song is a hit.
Yeah, it's like them and Elvis.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
A greatest hits CD from the Beatles and from Elvis is
just
like
grab
they're
any
all
of their
number
albums.
one.
Yeah.
It's not just like greatest of them. It's like they're all number one songs.
Yeah.
Well, I had that Beatles CD out. It was called Number One.
Yeah.
And it was all their number one
It was
hits.
like 15 years ago even now, and it was super popular.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Everybody bought that album,
Hey, I refused to get CDs for a while, but then I was like, well.
Gave in a little bit.
Yeah.
They take a little less room, too.
Well, that and they weren't doing the vinyl at the time.
Yeah.
Now they've come back and they're doing vinyl.
Yeah, that's cool.
Along with the CDs.
Yeah,
now you get it, any album you want, you can get it both.
There's a big enough market for people that want
And the vinyl is more expensive.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So that's we're touching on a pretty important subject there. That's really why vinyl is so important and why it's still around. It's the only physical media that still survives.
Mm-hmm.
Like it went away and then it came back.
Yeah.
Because people knew it.
CD's gone, tape's gone, all that stuff's gone.
Reel to reel.
Vinyl, he had the reel-to-reel player.
Yeah.
Which technically before CDs, that was the best.
That was the first. Yeah.
Reel-to-reel.
Reel-to-reel was on top.
Two big.
Oh.
I'm talking about like two big spools, and that was the best quality you could get at the time.
Yeah.
But not exactly the easiest thing for a novice to
carry around or have put in your car, or,
or even just know how to set it up and feed it.
No, you're right.
You got to actually, be somewhat of an audiophile to be able to do that. But vinyl has survived because vinyl has something unique, and that's its sound.
Yeah.
It is a unique sound that can't be replicated with anything else.
Vinyl, theoretically, is more accurate to what they heard in the studios.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you get albums that got pops or cracks or whatever. It doesn't matter. The actual song is more like what was recorded.
Okay.
Right. So if
You know,
want
it's
the
not. It
closest-
wasn't as clear as CDs were, and you know.
But what makes that
you
work
want-
science-wise?
Well,
Like,
if you want the closest thing to what the band heard, like the Beatles when they recorded that album, if you want to hear it the closest possible way to what they heard when they said, "Yep, done deal. This is it. This sounds perfect." The closest you're going to get to that is vinyl.
Yeah.
Anything else is going to be a little bit different sounding just because of the transfer of the media and this and that.
okay.
The reason it's unique is I think you were just about to ask that, like how
How does it work?
does it work?
You have a needle on top of a piece of vinyl. Why is that giving me music? You know what I'm saying?
There's grooves in. There's little grooves in the. They transfer it electronic. It's analog. It's not digital.
Yeah.
And in the studio or wherever they put it, it makes these little like marks, little lines, different things around the circle.
It's cutting.
Yeah, it cuts into the record,
It's cutting little
and then
bits in there.
and then the needle plays it back. It takes it and
So
plays it
sounds-
back. It's pretty cool.
Dang,
The sound reverberation is picked up by it, and then it transfers it into a electronic signal,
Yeah.
and then puts it through your headphones or whatever. Yeah, it's quite
It's
amazing.
still sound.
It is when you think about it.
And that originated with wax discs. That was like
Yeah.
the first. So
The fact that that holds for so long,
And
they're just
well,
cutting these little lines into a
is-
Well,
piece of vinyl.
you talk about 78s is when it started.
Yeah.
You know, and they had a lot of music back then on 78s.
yeah, so that's true though. It does eventually wear out.
Okay.
You know, that's the thing. I think that's another part to me personally. I think that's one of the things that I really like about vinyl
Yeah.
is the fleeting aspect
Yeah.
of it.
It's kind of
You
cool.
know what I mean? Like,
Well-
it's not forever. Like
Yeah.
every time you play that,
One less play.
it's not sounding as good every time.
Yeah, it takes an awful long time.
It takes an awful long time.
I mean, you got to play it over and over and over for years.
And if you have too much downward pressure
Yeah.
on your needles,
That's a big thing.
record players are set up to apply a certain amount of pressure over
On the
that to
tone arm,
sound
yeah.
good. And if you're applying a lot of pressure, it's going to dig harder. It's going to wear it out a little bit faster. So, but that realness, that fleeting kind of aspect of it, to me, I think makes it.
I think that's kind of
really
cool.
interesting. Right.
It's kind of like the messages they used to get it like as like spies, you know, and it blows up in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Just had a longer,
But a longer lifespan.
Yeah, that was a
gonna
lot.
blow
Yeah.
up in
Only-
35 years.
Yes.
You know, you gotta-
Yeah, because then it went reel to reel, and then you had actually 8-track tapes
yeah.
became popular because they had decent sound. Plus, they just kept going round and round. You didn't have to turn it over to the side. I got one.
It's like a
It's at home.
cartridge, almost like a N64 type deal.
exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could change. You had 4 channels. You could change them. But then when there were cassettes around for a long time, but you never had good sound out of them
Okay.
because they were used for, like you said, leaving a message for somebody or whatever.
Then you get all the film starts falling out of them and trying to like reel it back.
And then they got to the point where they were like unbelievable sound.
Yeah.
Plus, you could put them in your car.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. Was you had to have music in your car.
Well, yeah.
Can't have a record player.
No, well, they used to.
There were
Back
cars.
back in the day, I don't think you could drive around with it. But if you were
just
stopped
bumps
somewhere,
and
you could
stuff
put it.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, they would not like it. But if you were stopped,
Yeah.
It's like
maybe you're at
Every time you're at a stoplight, you just hit play and
If
then
you're at Inspiration Point with your girl,
Oh, now
maybe
you're talking.
you could put a record on in the car.
inspiration point. What are you, Fonzie?
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I wish I was.
Okay, just want to make sure.
I live my life by Fonzie's codes.
There you go.
I fix things by hitting them.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is the coolest.
It
Doesn't
works sometimes.
I was gonna say, doesn't that start the jukebox when he hits it?
Yeah.
He always-
Yeah.
He's the only
Well, he didn't put money in. He just hit it and
Yeah.
it just stirred up.
He knew the spot. Yeah.
But then cassettes really did take over for a while, and then of course CDs came out, and that was the end of everything.
Yeah. Wasn't
Well,
it?
and keep in mind too, with 8-tracks and cassettes, you can't jump. This is probably mind blowing to some people that are young enough. You can't jump to a track.
Yeah.
Like you have to.
Like let it play through to that
Yeah,
part.
or you fast forward
Yeah.
and it's, oh, not there.
Nope,
No,
Go back, go back.
no,
Nope, catch the-
not an 8-track.
Right.
You could jump, but you could jump into the middle of a song.
Yeah.
You know, you're just going to another
Now,
track.
that's actually a good advantage for vinyl, too. It's vinyl, you can go right
Yeah.
to the songs. Because
Yeah.
if you look at the record on top, you can see there's distinct grooves, there's a pause.
So you just have to count like back.
So,
how
yeah,
many?
so you go like one,
No,
two,
you can see the space between the songs. There's like kind of a clear,
Okay.
you can see how many are on the records to go to
Because I've
it.
never looked at one close enough to even notice that.
oh, here, let's bust one up.
Let's see what we got.
Be careful with this one because this is a Scott Brown original.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
At
Well, then
record.
keep
least
it.
I know where it's going.
I put this one out here too because this is a very distinct, famous album cover.
Yeah.
That's
By
a
the band-
classic.
By the band Led Zeppelin, their first album.
All right. Let's take a quick gander at this baby.
So don't touch.
Here for the edges or.
Yeah, just
yeah,
don't touch
edges
the-
are like that, yeah.
You don't touch the grooves, but see how there's individual.
You can see
the
the
tracks.
Okay.
you can see the
So
division
this holds
between a
4 songs. Okay, that makes sense to me then. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
And you flip it over, you get side A,
Like
side B.
Yeah.
Like this.
yeah.
And of course, you've got to when you're done with one side, you've got to then stop, go,
Yeah.
flip it over, and play again. But you can actually, jump 2 songs. That's
It's an advantage, yeah.
So you can see why vinyl still lives. Not to mention also the aspect of the amazing artwork that you get with it.
Yeah.
Usually they'll have the lyrics on the
Yeah.
back or on the jacket or on
Yep.
the sleeve, or open it up and it'll be inside. It'll have lyrics. It'll have pictures, artwork, pictures of the bands, and even, and this is something I want to talk about too. Albums used to come with like cool stuff. Like they'd come with posters.
Posters.
Stickers.
Like, you'd get
Yeah, all
the
sorts
album
of stuff,
and
yeah.
you'd have like a whole poster to fold out.
Yeah.
Pictures, was Let It Be came with the
four,
and
yeah.
No, that was White Album.
Is it the
White
way?
Album. Yeah.
Came with what?
Yeah, it had the 4 pictures of
Oh.
them.
So it came with like 4 big, like quality pictures of each one of the
Bandmates, yeah.
Beatles. That was really cool.
That's pretty
Let's
badass.
see,
Yeah.
what is, I think my favorite one, one of the more famous ones, was Cheech and Chong's album.
Big Bang Boom.
It came with a
Big
gigantic
bamboo.
rolling paper
yeah.
that was, like this big, that, was like part of the thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I
Good
remember,
old Stogie.
and he had that out. He had that album, and he had the original rolling paper still
Yeah.
in it. And
You smoked it?
no,
He did. He wouldn't be here right now.
it's not surprising. I think
You get in a jam, you're like, man, I got any papers? Like, I got 1 paper. Yeah. I know where it's.
Can cut it up into about 20 joints.
Yeah.
the less liked sibling had friends over, and somebody stole it out of him.
Oh, no. You should have smoked it then.
I know.
Had you known.
At least used it,
And
eh?
I know it was there because I saw it. I remember seeing it. Like it was in the record.
Better in
And
your
then-
son's lungs than in some random's hands, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a lot of
exactly.
pot, though. Well, I'll tell you.
At least you
Can't
get
put
some
a whole
work out
lid
of
in
That's
there.
a day-changing amount of, yeah. It's
it. Was there any?
really set you back for a few hours.
Were there any other cool things that came with records that you can think of?
Well, the records themselves, too. I mean, sometimes it came in colors. The vinyl was
picture
different
disc.
colors and stuff like that.
Bust out your picture.
I brought a,
Okay, yeah, show us some of your
brought
stuff
up-
there, Rich.
So I
brought
remember Elvis had
Give us a good look over in
clear
this camera.
Yellow. That was his gold album, yeah.
So like they also come like clear acrylic.
Yeah.
Like they'll be like
it
purple
over here
and
for me.
red. Or,
I brought a Slayer South of Heaven picture disc.
Nice.
Oh, geez, yeah.
That thing looks pretty mean.
Yeah,
That's all right on the record like that?
Yeah,
Oh, it's sweet. Yeah.
It's right in the vinyl.
It's one of my favorite albums from any band that I listen to, but you can see it.
Dang, that is cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Wow. That's some good artwork, man.
Yeah,
To be able to put it right
it's-
on there, that
it's
thing to be
phenomenal.
playable
Yeah.
like that, that's
Yeah.
badass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and they're usually black, but a lot of times they're colored.
Yeah.
You know, they'll be.
Well, actually, they're black when you see it. If you put it under a black light, you remember those?
Yeah.
That's what you put on when you
They
listen to the record.
they get some really weird colors in there when it's under a black light.
Okay.
That was big in the day.
Yeah. No, I just use those when I go to hotels now.
Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah,
I don't. I'd rather not. I'd rather not know.
I was gonna say I'd rather not know myself.
Yeah. Just ignorance is bliss on that one.
You know? Yeah,
Gotta at least give it the wipe down test. Make sure it's
Just-
not still damp at least.
yeah.
Right.
There's levels to this.
I hope the lady cleaning your room did a good job.
Right.
Yeah, it was, man, there was a lot of stuff.
So you used to work at a record shop, I heard?
Yeah, when I was in high school.
Okay.
I should have worn that shirt.
Littles?
Yeah, I have his work shirt.
What was it called?
Littles.
Lils?
Mm-hmm.
Where at?
Oak Park.
Oak Park? Okay.
On Lake Street. Lake in Oak Park Avenue.
Wow. Okay.
The, actually, when I started there, that was... when was that?
How old you were. Yeah, there was just
No, I was high school, so it was probably like 16 when I started there.
Okay.
And 15 or 16. And the Littles actually owned it when I first started there. It was this older couple.
Yeah.
And it was, they had a lot of opera.
Okay.
Because their customers came there for, they knew they had the opera and everything. Actually, Littles had I don't know if you ever heard of or remember, they actually had a playing booth where you could bring a record in and play it and make sure it's not skipping. It was mainly for 45s. They were huge, back then. And if you just wanted one song or whatever. And you could take it and bring it in the room and it was soundproof and you could, listen to it. That was big. That was big back in the day. A lot of places had that.
Okay.
And so I was there, and then a new owner took over, Paul, and he was more into, he was into rock, but he was also into big band type stuff.
Okay.
Benny Goodman, kind of thing. Glenn Miller. I love Glenn Miller. Stan Kenton, who was not as known, but he was big. We actually went to a concert with him in Riverside Brookfield High School.
Okay.
And saw Stan Kenton. But so he it brought the rock back, And the thing that was interesting with the Littles, they were personal friends with the Ludwigs, the drum people.
Oh, wow.
Ludwig drum.
They're still around, yeah.
Yeah, well, they're not, but their family.
Well, yeah,
sure,
I understand the company's still around. Making
Yes.
those
Well, Ringo made Ludwig big when he played Ludwig on Ed Sullivan.
that makes sense.
And John Bonham,
John
too, right?
Bonham.
Yeah, Bonham, yeah.
Led Zeppelin fame, also played Ludwig.
So were you already into rock at that point in your life, or what kind of music were you into going into the record?
Yeah,
How long did you work there?
I just asked him one question, man. You can double up these questions?
Just
on him?
real quick, I just want to find out.
I was probably
What happens if
there.
you have two hosts?
Which one am I done? I don't know, 4 or 5 years, I'm thinking.
Okay.
Wow.
And
And you got a pretty good collection of records.
yeah, well, the problem was when I was, especially more when Paul owned it, as I saw a record, I'd take it and mark it down.
Yeah.
So I never got much of a check.
Yeah. Just working for music.
Yeah, I was
good.
pretty much just doing that. So that's how I
I
got
worked at a gun store.
quite a big, And so yeah, that was a lot of fun actually.
So-
I had more fun in that record store, just because we could play music
Yeah.
while you're working and.
So you went into it liking rock and stuff, and then did you come to appreciate other kinds of music because you're around so many different types of music or genres?
Some of it, yeah. I did start, like I said, because of him. I got more into a lot of the big band stuff and that I've learned to appreciate, and actually appreciate most. I mean, even opera, it's tough to hear, but if you think about it musically, it's an amazing thing they do.
Yeah.
But my brother was 10 years older than me. He was in the 50s, so he was, listening to Elvis and, all the greaser music back then.
Gotcha.
And so he'd have 40, like I said, 45s were everything. He didn't have
the bigger,
singles.
smaller?
That's the small
That's the
ones.
smaller.
45 RPM.
Okay.
Yeah, what that refers to is the speed that the record, that it's the revolutions per minute of the record.
right.
So 45s are smaller and they turn faster.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
These are 33s.
33 and a third are records.
33 and a third.
And then 78s they're a little smaller than these, but they go fast. Those are ones they play on a Victrola or something like that.
Okay. So
So those were
I
like
got
first.
too.
78s.
So
were
what's
first.
the benefit of doing something on the 45s versus the other?
It's all
70s?
about how it's recorded.
Okay.
But
And then can you
40
store more songs on the bigger the album? But even though it's smaller,
No.
it's spinning faster, so you could.
So 45 is only 2 songs.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
Well, there were ones called EPs
yeah.
back in the day. The Beatles had a few of them where they'd have 2 songs on a side.
Gotcha.
So 2 and 2.
quick little 4
yeah, it
album
was
there.
nice, you know.
So it was meant as a single, right?
Gotcha.
Because before, you can probably fill me in a little bit better on the year, but earlier 45s were more popular because singles were everything. People didn't buy albums.
Yeah.
They didn't buy a whole album, listen to a whole album. You
They liked
you
the
heard one
song,
song on the radio, you
wanna
liked
buy
it, you went to the appliance store or whatever because there weren't record stores, right? So you had to go to an appliance store to order.
There were, but not everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
And you get a single. And then as bands started getting more popular, albums started, and I don't know, who were really the first guys to really make a full album popular?
Well, some of the back in the day when it was hard rock started coming through, then like Black Sabbath and Zeppelin, and these guys started, they'd have the full albums, and then people were like, the reason a lot of people wouldn't buy albums was they're like, well, I only like one song on it. Well, listen to it, maybe you like more,
You like the artist clearly.
Yeah.
So
It's
So
actually gone backwards now today because
Yeah.
people just buy
yeah,
a song on
songs.
iTunes.
Yeah, exactly.
well, 45s are cheap. Now you're talking probably $50, for one.
Wow. Okay.
And especially girls, they, Bobby Darin or whoever the hell they're, hot for. and they'd buy, all the little singles, and they'd sit in their room, with their,
There was the Justin Timberlake.
with
Oh,
their,
yeah. Yeah, fill me in.
well, he was better.
Whoa, whoa,
But
whoa.
So it was easier. You could just change it. Everything was, you could stack them on the record players back then.
Gotcha.
They had the big hole in it, and otherwise you could put. I used to use it on my record because you get a good record player. You just have the one small pin for like albums, and if you had a 45, you had to put what we called back then a spider.
Here's, hold up the
It looks
One
like
of
that.
these.
Oh, really?
that album, the first one.
And-
It's got a little small hole. It's about
there,
about a
middle.
quarter inch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About a quarter inch hole, right?
Maybe not even.
45s. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big hole.
That's
much
what I'm
bigger.
more used to seeing, I guess. When
Yeah.
I think about a record in my head, it's not that little tiny hole. It's the bigger.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
But if you had a record player that didn't have the adapter,
Gotcha.
Or
You
it-
can't spin that thing.
you'd
then.
put one of these in.
Oh, okay. So the little part goes in there and it widens out. Okay.
You
this
put
is
it in.
making
You
more
put it in
sense
the
now.
hole, and then you had the
Okay.
little hole that would fit on the record player.
Yeah,
called
yeah,
a
yeah.
spider.
Spider. Yeah.
That's what we called it. Yeah, it's just 45 adapter or whatever you want.
They would have never known what that symbol was.
It's Star Trek.
Yeah. I was gonna go there, but
Yeah,
Too quick.
yeah. But it was all the back in the day, the big joke, if you had a 45 RPM record that was 2.5 minutes long, how many grooves are there?
I don't get it. So if you have a 45 that's got a 2.5 minute long song,
Yeah, how many grooves are in the record?
and
One.
one, yeah.
Just goes around and around and around.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
I now remember you telling that.
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
didn't even know the answer to. I didn't even know it, but after you said that, now I remember that.
Yeah.
It's one group.
Just starts as soon as it ends. It just starts right back up. Yeah. All right, I can dig that.
Yeah.
I put songs on repeat every once in a while.
But you get well, not with a record you don't. And then, it just got into all the different, but, I love vinyl so much. I actually have a Victrola.
So what's the difference? The Victrola's got like the cone looking. What do we call this thing?
So,
Funnel.
okay.
Well, some have the cone on them.
Okay.
Mine is more of a stand-up. It just has the front. They're not electric.
Big
Okay.
cabinet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like furniture.
You cranking this thing? Is that what it is? That's right. Okay. So that separates
it's
the
not
Victrola
electric.
from
Yeah.
a record player. Is
No
the
electric.
cranking of a Victrola.
You just crank it.
And it's got like a coil or something in there that
You're winding it.
wind a tension.
Yeah, and the needle is picking up the grooves
Okay.
and going out the horn.
Gotcha.
That's all there is to it,
So it's literally just amplifying the sound with.
I just feel like the first time
Space.
someone probably saw that machine and it started pumping music out, and they probably freaked out.
It was a big deal.
Yeah,
It was a big deal.
It is a big deal. Even
Yeah.
looking at it still now, going, hang on, there's
Yeah.
music. You put a
Edit-
needle
It's
on this
talking
thing,
to me.
and it starts singing. Like what?
Edison was one of the guys that came along with it, and then, of course, RC Victor got big with it. But
So the apocalypse, when there's no power.
Yeah,
If you have a
Victrola, you're good to go.
Yeah.
You got music.
Oh, you better
Problem
have some freaking records too.
yeah,
records.
you got to have the
You
records.
just got the
Yeah.
Victrola. You're gonna.
You don't want to put one of these on that. Well, that
Yeah.
needle will just rip the hell out of it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But there's no volume either. It is what it is.
Oh,
Whatever
really?
it's
Turn it up
no,
and down,
no. No, I remember one time he had a party. One of his friends like, where do you plug it in? I said,
Your mic sounds quiet, apparently. Rob, I don't know if you could do something with that. Get louder.
It's probably best.
Talk louder.
It's probably best people don't hear me.
Yeah, no, it is for the best.
That's what I've always said.
Yep. He's got to listen to your dad. He's probably right.
Do you remember in the movie Austin Powers when he's like learning about because he gets unfrozen?
Yeah.
And he puts his CD. He opens the CD. He's like, CDs, they're new, and he puts it on his record player.
Yeah, it's
So you grew up with a record player in the house, Richie?
Yes, I actually garbage picked my first one.
Your first one, like when you got older, or?
I was probably 11, 12 years old, and I found one of these big, I think it was a Sony. It was one of those all-in-one. It had a record player on top,
Okay.
2 tape decks, and a CD player. And I didn't have speakers for it, so I'm cruising around on my skateboard and shit. And I find one speaker, it's small. I'm like, cool. So I'm listening to it on one speaker.
Yeah.
And I
One
found
channel.
another one that was bigger.
Yeah.
So for a while before I saved the money or found better ones at a garage
Yeah,
sale,
that was
I
your-
used that.
Yeah.
You had the big and small setup.
And then eventually, I realized that my dad had an old Pioneer record player and
Nice.
a receiver and big speakers. So I kind of, took that. Yeah. He gave it to me with most of his record collection.
Nice.
A lot of what
Nice.
I brought here was stuff that he bought when he was, a teenager or a young kid. And I've just added to the collection over the years.
Do you remember like the first one you got, or like maybe the first one you remember getting and being like, oh my God, it's my favorite. I love it.
That back then, Iron Maiden was a big one for me.
Yeah.
I like the album covers so
Do you
much.
have any of these with you?
Yeah, I brought a bunch of my favorites. I brought The Number of the Beast. That's
Nice.
a classic. It's Maiden's 3rd album they put out when Bruce Dickinson joined the band. And I brought what else? First Black Sabbath album.
very good.
That's a classic.
That's a cool looking picture
It's
as well.
very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. One of my favorite.
1966.
And I brought
Let me see it real quick.
I think it was 1970.
Do you remember where they came up with the name
You're
Black
right,
Sabbath?
70. Geezer came up with it it was a horror movie out at the time.
Boris Karloff.
Boris Karloff.
It was named Black Sabbath.
It was called
and they
Black-
straight up took their band name from that.
Yep.
Same name.
Same name.
That's wild. I didn't know that. Okay.
Well, they wanted to be
Scary.
kind of a cult type
Yeah.
feeling, They got all the music that, doing that kind of. Everyone thought it was devil worship
Yep.
and all that kind.
Yep.
It's like, come on.
Well, when you listen to that
I guess you
album,
could pick up some of
like
it, but
like the song Black Sabbath, the first track.
Yeah.
What is
I mean,
this that
even to
stands
this-
before me?
even
The
to
first
the-
lyrics,
Yeah.
it's
Even
Or
to
Iron
this
Man.
day,
yeah.
it's terrifying sounding.
It
I mean,
is.
like
It is scary sounding. And what do you always hear it too? And this time of year, if you're not listening to it all the time, you hear it at like haunted houses or on Halloween time. It's
that's
like,
when they. That's
yeah,
right.
because it is. It's a little creepy.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
that or the
It's great
Jaws
though.
thing.
Believe me, I love some Ozzy and some Black Sabbath. I grew up listening to that stuff too. So
this was their. I guess they got the name from this horror movie, and that was the concept of the band. Was there's horror movies? Let's be the first horror band.
Yeah.
That's
That
cool.
was kind of the idea.
They were at the time.
And they were. They scared the hell out of people.
well,
you
yeah.
know?
I mean, that was while Ozzy was with Black Sabbath. That was all part of the bat biting the head thing.
No, that was
That
when he
was
was
his
solo.
that was solo.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was in like the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, and that
in
was
Alamo.
When did he go solo?
1978. I'm
I'll
actually
say it
wearing the
was
shirt.
78 or 79.
78 or 79 was Never Say Die, which is the last album with Ozzy.
Okay.
They kicked him out because he was,
Crazy.
They were all drugs and
Yeah.
everything, and they kicked him out, and then he ended up, Sharon ended up like kind of grabbing on.
Yeah,
to him,
he'd never
and then-
show up for practice.
And then gave him
Put him on the straight and narrow a little bit.
Yeah,
and-
gave
Yeah,
him
she
some-
got him straight all right.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
There's the famous story was he was like held up in this like hotel room or whatever, and he was just like basically like about to die.
Yeah.
And he was going out to go get his next fix to go pick up from his dealer, and she laid down across the wheels of his car and said like, "You're gonna have to run me over then." And then that was like when he didn't sober up, of course, but
Yeah.
he kind of got
Changed
back.
his ways a little bit.
He did try killing her one time.
Did he? Yeah, living with that guy must have been a tough one.
Well, one time too, she figured, well, I'll take all his clothes away.
Oh, his clothes away?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a good plan.
Well, no, he put on one of her dresses.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think of so many things that you do, man. Just walk outside naked. I don't know.
And then that's when he went to the Alamo.
Yeah.
He was in San Antonio.
Didn't he get a bunch of trouble for that?
And
or
he
something
went
like
to
that?
dress-
He pissed on it.
He pissed on the
okay.
Alamo.
Yes. Okay. I totally. Yeah.
And
I've seen the
he
clips.
was banned from Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except I think in the last
He's
couple
back.
of
Yeah,
years-
he's back
I've heard
now.
his story about it. He's like, I was looking at piss. I didn't know it was the goddamn Alamo.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He didn't know where he was.
He had no idea where he was pissing. He was just had
No,
to piss.
they brought him
Yeah.
back now. They had a big party for him and everything.
Yeah, I did hear about that. I was following his life a little bit when they did that Osborne show, and then after he actually did a cool show recently with his son that they traveled around the country.
Yeah,
Which is that
that's
It's
a
an
good show.
awesome show.
Yeah, it was.
That's very
Really
Yeah, that
cool to
was
see
really-
him like with his son and his grandkids and like again like in his right state of mind, and he's having fun doing crazy stuff and
Jack and Ozzy's World Detour. I think
Yeah,
it's
something
called,
like
something
that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
And
good
Kelly
I
Jones
always
an
like to
episode or something.
go into some town and some high school band and be playing Crazy Train or
yeah,
something.
he
It's
did.
like-
He walked in and the band's playing Crazy Train.
That
Yeah,
had to drive him crazy.
yeah. I'm sure he thought that's
Literally.
kind of.
In a way, yeah, it is pretty
You know,
neat.
you're honoring him, kind
Yeah.
of like and a lot of bands play that shit. I mean,
Well, Jack actually is. There's another show on that I watched. It's called The Osbournes Want to Believe,
okay. I haven't
and
heard
it's
that one.
him,
It's
and
Jack
him and Ozzy and what's her name?
Kelly.
No,
Oh, Sharon.
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 Yeah.
Sharon.
Sharon.
And he's showing him because he's in the paranormal. Jack is.
Oh,
yeah, he's
yeah,
real big into it. He goes
Okay.
goes to places and hunts and that kind
I
of
think
thing.
I was hearing that on that one, the Detour show. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a show called Portals from Hell or something like
Okay.
that, and whatever. But he shows all these clips from different things, trying to prove to them that there are ghosts and UFOs and
Yeah.
stuff like that. They don't.
Yeah.
Ozzy's like, it's whatever. It's camera tricks. It's this, it's that. And Jack's just like,
In this day and age, it's harder and harder to
can't be.
believe camera
It's
tricks.
digital. You can't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Ball lightning. That's his big thing too.
Ball lately.
Yeah, but so they're still around doing
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm happy to see it too. You'd think a guy that lived that hard for so many years might not have lasted so long, but
Right.
there are
It's
medical
amazing.
miracles out there.
Well, it gets me too. It's like, well, he's the Prince of Darkness, but he doesn't believe any of this garbage.
Yeah,
He's just
that's a good point.
It's
a
not,
regular scumbag from Birmingham, England. Like, that's it. He's not like
he's not even that. He keeps getting up in the middle of it. I gotta go take a piss. He walks out of there.
He gets bored easily with some
Jack,
of
I'll
these-
tell you, Jack.
It's so funny.
I love him.
so
No, I
funny.
love Ozzy. And Jack
hilarious.
has I've become a big fan of his.
I
too.
hated him when he was a little kid.
Yeah,
He was a
no,
little-
both of them.
asshole because they were
little
growing up
crap,
like
yeah.
giving everything. I mean, you have to
Yeah.
at some point you get old enough to realize like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I was a little asshole
Yeah.
my whole life, and
Yeah.
then they seem really level-headed now. And you talk, when you hear them on some of the stuff, and maybe that's
Yeah.
putting on for the cameras or whatnot. But
which is what you'd hope, because it's like, dude, they're
No,
Ozzy kids. They got to be
they've-
awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they've
Jack
become
seems
much
pretty
better.
cool now.
Jack has really straightened out.
yeah,
I think getting married when he probably did that. And having kids,
and having the
but
kids and stuff always will chill you out a
That'll
little
kill
bit
you.
and change you a little bit.
I can tell you about that.
Yeah.
What now?
Nothing.
So, what was you and your dad's like go-to album that you guys listened to together?
This is
Probably
one
a
of
lot
Dad
of
into
them,
rock or
Yes.
Is he?
Yeah,
Okay.
very much so. Deep Purple, Machine Head.
Machine Head.
Okay.
It's
I almost brought that one out.
everybody knows Smoke on the Water.
Oh, yeah.
This-
Oh, that's them.
yeah, it's on here. Highway Star is on here.
Why did you think that was like
Space
Hendrix or
Truckin'.
something? Did he do? Did Hendrix do a Smoke on the Water too?
I
Did
think
he?
he's on it, or
No.
Yeah, there's
Why
No,
every
but he
track
did some
on-
stuff that,
Lazy.
Okay.
Pictures of Home. Never
Yeah,
Before.
Lazy's a great song.
Every song,
Kentucky Woman.
Is that on that one?
every song on this album is just
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Wow.
Yeah.
They were,
It's good driving music.
yeah. If you want to go
Crank it
fast,
in your car and just.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually
Yeah.
like when they do compilations and stuff of the best like racing, like fast driving music and stuff. Yeah.
Highway Star by
Highway
Deep
Star.
Purple was
Always
on
on
there. Another one that
They were the
in my
loudest
early
band.
years.
Known at the time they were playing
Yeah, it was,
Purple?
in concert.
Yes.
it was really them and Sabbath that
Yeah.
were like the first to be truly loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like turned up.
Like get away from the
crazy
speaker kind of
distortion
concerts.
kind of.
Let
yeah.
me tell you about a concert I went to for Deep Purple.
Yeah.
Loved them. But back in the day, you'd have bands that played before him.
Yeah.
So he had Deep Purple. And the first band that played was actually ZZ Top
Okay.
before they were known.
And where is
Okay.
this?
Oh, was this Harry Crown maybe? Downtown?
Was this before they had big beards, or they always had the big
No,
beards?
before that. And they had these cowboy outfits on that they wore.
Yeah,
So,
rhinestones.
if you look at LaGrange, I think they got pictures of them like that.
That's
Yeah, they
funny.
got those nudie suits, whatever, you know.
Very different look than they had.
Oh, yeah, it was cowboy. It was like they were, you know.
Some country guys.
And so,
Cowboy at the time.
So they're out there just killing it. No one knows them, but they're just absolutely killing it.
Okay.
And you're waiting for Deep Purple to come on. You know what they're going to be doing. And in the middle of this, they put on Billy Preston.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, what's Billy Preston's big song?
World Goes Around in Circle. And he played with the Beatles.
Okay. So you're talking, it's just a different genre here.
So
That's it.
Yeah.
It's not rock.
Yeah.
Think Stevie Wonder.
Okay. Something along those lines more.
Easy listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, piano. You know,
Excellent. I love Billy Preston.
ZZ Top.
Yeah.
No.
Deep Purple.
And you're sticking and you're
I love
yeah.
Billy Preston. But he didn't fit between ZZ Top and Deep Purple.
Yes.
And needless to say, he got booed out of there.
Yeah. He got
That's
the
a
raw deal
shame.
that night.
Yeah. Well, we had at my high school, one of the dances, we had Sticks before they were big.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty cool. At the dance?
Yeah, they were playing
pretty
the band.
badass.
Yeah. We booed them off the stage.
Did you really?
Bring on Deep Purple.
We booed them off the stage.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
We're listening to Sabbath.
You're up there doing the
Yeah, we're listening to hard rock. And these guys come on, and obviously they're good, but I mean, it was like, we were like kids going, what the hell?
This wasn't your
Get
seat.
out of here. You know.
Get out of here. Start throwing tomatoes at him and shit.
We had some pretty good bands at the time, though, back then. Because they'd all play high schools.
Yeah.
You know, I saw
That's how you get kids to go buy records, that's for sure. Go into their school.
I saw REO Speedway and down on Champaign, which is where they came from.
Yeah.
And yeah, we used to have a lot of different bands come through. But concerts were really good back then.
Yeah.
Plus, you get your money's worth. You used to have, back in the day, and probably I'm going to say the 70s, when everything was black and white.
Easy.
Yeah. We'd have these concerts called World Series of Rock.
Okay.
And they usually play at
Wrigley or Soderfield, Wrigley,
Sox,
Comiskey.
Comiskey, back in the day when it was Comiskey.
Yeah. Now it's guaranteed rate.
I don't know, it's changed hands so much. Well, now it's a new field. I'm talking about the original
Yeah. It's
field.
a whole different stadium, yeah.
And you'd go there you'd pay like $50 and you get like, there'd be like 5 or 6 bands playing.
Wow, yeah.
And big bands,
All
not,
day
yeah,
affair
not,
almost, yeah.
you know, not garbage, you know. And now it's like you can't pay that now and get one band.
Yeah.
You know, he was telling me, you know, we had Genesis just played this week
Yeah.
downtown.
Okay.
This is their last tour. And Rob's, I guess he said he looked up and they were like $120.
That was more.
Just for the
It was
one
more
day.
than
They
that.
were good seats.
And I'm like, they've never been that high.
Nosebleed seats.
Well, last time you're going to see him, I mean.
Yeah. But I
Supply and
mean,
demand,
it
you know?
just gets to be, oh, for crying out loud,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I feel privileged that we did get to see him. Though I don't know how many years ago that was. That was a while ago.
It was the last tour before this one.
Right. That's probably like maybe 8 years ago.
Yeah.
No, maybe.
Oh, God, no, it'd be more than that, actually, probably.
Well, I was pretty excited about that. That
Yeah.
was pretty great because Genesis has always been your favorite band.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't really get into them when I was younger. Probably maybe like later in high school, I started listening to some of the later. I liked some of the later stuff, but I couldn't really get into the early Genesis. You know, the
With Peter Gabriel?
real proggy kind of stuff. But now I'm a huge fan of all of it. You know,
Yeah.
because of his record collection. You know, I mean, you would have been younger. Maybe you don't remember, but you remember me before I listened to music. Like before I was in high school. I didn't start listening to music till I was in high school.
Yeah.
And I just started listening to what he had in the basement. You know, and he had 4,000
Yeah, in that closet right by the bathroom, right?
Right.
And he started adding to them
Yeah.
with his stuff he liked. Like, I was never an AC/DC fan,
You had one AC/DC album.
you know, and I got that from Roman,
Somebody gave
where
it to
he was getting rid of it, and I was, whatever.
I guess.
everyone,
Yeah,
including
and
Australian only.
so I wasn't a fan of AC/DC. Well, this is the time with, like, you got Slayer and stuff like that. That wasn't my time.
Yeah.
I'm already past that.
Yeah.
You know,
You're already saying, oh, these kids in there.
oh, the long hair, these long hair bands and, you know, whatever. And I never got into it because, to me, at the time, because I wasn't really listening, they all sounded the same.
Yeah.
It was all the same garbage. I thought AC/DC was like that too.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
But now you're a fan.
But
of
once you
AC/DC.
listen to them and really enjoy it, now you know it's not all the same.
Yeah.
You know.
There are songs.
Motorhead's another one. Lemon,
Yes.
like, he was never into Motorhead, and then like in the last couple of years, like, okay, this guy's legit.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. No, you got to start getting into it for the music.
Yeah, AC/DC.
And if the music's good, you know, there's still some I never cared for Rush.
they got
I
a
know-
specific sound to them. I guess
I know a lot. Well, I wasn't a Geddy Lee fan
Okay.
with that high voice, and
Yeah.
you know.
Neither was I. I do really like Rush.
I like Rush. I can dig
I
some
like
Rush.
their earlier stuff.
And you know, so I was, you know, it just, like I said, it's where, when you were born. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, when are you going to, you know, I grew up, like I was telling you, my brother had 45s of Elvis, and,
Yeah.
you know, the Fountains, you know, whatever,
Yeah.
all these bands that had these one-hit wonders, and then we actually got, my aunt, my mom's sister, lived in Scotland
Okay.
for a time. My Uncle Tommy, her husband, was vice president of Dunlop Tire.
It's a big outfit.
Yeah. And so they lived there for quite a while. And so one year, they sent us this album called Meet the Beatles. My brother and I were like, what the? You know, even him more than me, because he
Yeah.
was older. But it was like, what is...
First,
Yeah. Well, it was, you know, we were like, who's this?
Yeah.
Well, of course, they're huge over there.
Yeah. But you just.
They
heard-
hadn't,
I mean,
they
big-
hadn't hit
Yeah.
here, or
They come
you know, or yeah,
overseas yet.
none of that. And it was like, you know, all of a sudden, the next thing you know, within probably a month, Ed
everywhere.
Sullivan comes out, and it's like, oh, okay, you know,
Yeah.
that's who they are, and they had long hair.
Oh, did they in the beginning?
Well,
Some of
no,
them still always did. I mean, well, 'cause
no,
I'm
they
thinking of, like,
didn't, but they did.
Lennon was just like, oh,
I mean, it was like long. Like,
They had mop
they're
tops.
long for
like,
the time.
Probably a little bit longer.
Yeah.
than-
You're not talking about hairband long, though. I mean, like.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But
that was
long for the time period.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
all men were like, yeah, short, tight.
straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
a haircut you could set your watch to. you know?
Yeah.
Johnny Unitas.
They're almost
From
they're almost bowl
haircut you
cuts.
can set your watch to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, so that next thing you know, they've blown up,
Yeah.
you know, and they're everywhere. And it's like, when I try to tell people, you know, people are like, oh, you know, either like the Beatles or the Stones or whatever. There were a lot of bands that were actually as good. I wasn't a Stones fan. Early Stones is okay. Some of their new stuff I'm not a fan of. But you look at what, I mean, Stones are still playing, for crying out loud. You know, what, they're 120 years old or something like that?
I did. Yeah. I mean, modern medicine's crazy.
Yeah, and God knows where Keith Richards is age-wise. He's like a dog.
Yeah.
The Beatles, what they did musically for whatever, they did more than what Elvis did,
Yeah.
in that they all played, they all sang, they all wrote, and they did it and they did it in 10 years.
Yeah,
That's all they were around.
Yeah.
Think about that.
That's wild.
Famous.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
before
they
they
were
got
working for a
famous,
little
they were
while.
famous in Germany, and, you know, a lot of the clubs there they played. But, I mean, that's a lot. And they changed from,
Yeah.
you know, I Want to Hold Your Hand to,
Right.
you know,
It's
number 9 or whatever. I mean, it's amazing how their music changed in
Yeah.
a short amount of time.
And still stay popular. They
Yeah.
didn't change their sound
yeah.
and lose all their fans.
I mean, they went from, you know, bebop or whatever
real
to,
poppy kind of
to
sounding stuff.
hard rock
Yeah.
in a way. And you don't hear bands like that do that.
yeah. That's I can't imagine. God, I can't imagine what it must have been like to watch
The
the
progression.
Beatles from literally like what the boy band would be.
It's probably
the
like
Backstreet Boys.
probably a John Mayer situation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's like watching. It'd be like watching the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah. All of a sudden.
And then all of a sudden they revolutionized how music was made, listened to, like the whole thing. Changed everything.
Yeah.
I mean, their albums they did, people listened to them, they didn't even know what to make of them. Like Revolver, people didn't even know what to make of this. It
White
sounded
Album.
so outrageous and like weird because nobody was doing anything like that at the time.
Well,
and then the White Album, they did Helter Skelter, and that's credited as the first hard rock song.
Really?
Pretty much.
They had, if you watch some of the old, they got, whatever movies or DVDs of back in the day, George Martin was the guy who produced all their records at Capitol and then Apple. Their studio was nothing. It was like, nowadays they're, whatever, but it was like a piano, drums, whatever.
Yeah.
Their recordings, they did, all these sounds they made up by doing stuff like running, because they used reel-to-reel back then,
Yeah.
like from one machine to another. They had tapes running between and then doing all these different tracks and getting all these different sounds, playing things backwards and getting a sound.
Okay.
And doing what they did was like
You didn't have a computer.
nobody could do that, and no one knew how they did it.
Yeah.
You had to like physically do weird. They did a similar thing when they recorded the Bee Gees when they did their first big album. It was like the same thing. They used like multiple tapes running through. I can't even wrap my head around what they were doing. And nobody had ever done anything like this.
Yeah.
Nobody had thought.
Well, I'm doing all these multi-tracks,
I was gonna say, weren't they the first to do like a 4-track or an 8-track
Les Paul.
recording?
Les Paul.
Okay. But were they maybe
My
like the
first
to
big
make
rock
it-
band, yeah.
Right. Okay, so they were the
Yeah.
first ones to like really.
Yeah, and a lot of guys like Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys
Which means-
took huge.
Which we just to explain it. Like, remember when we recorded that band the other day, and we had like the microphone was one input,
Yeah.
a speaker on the amplifier was one input. That's multi-track recording.
Gotcha.
You're recording each instrument
Individually.
and it's all going together in one sound.
Okay.
Before that, it was
One
microphone.
for the whole room.
Well, you know how you listen to something now, and it's like you in the speakers, and you got something come out of the speaker, something come out of the speaker. It's like stereo, what they call, Well, back before that, it was called mono. And everything was the same out of any speaker. It didn't matter. So you could have just one speaker, and everything was fine. But then when they got stereo, then you had to have, because then it was like, it was, if you had a good album that was recorded in stereo, you could get the split really good.
Yeah.
They tried quad for a while.
Yeah, quadraphonic.
But it didn't.
There was 4 individual sound.
People
tracks.
didn't buy into it because you had to get a whole new stereo. Whatever.
And
a
it's
lot
just
of
not
speakers
really
involved.
worth it.
It wasn't that big a deal.
They do the same thing now with surround sound systems,
Yeah.
just without
Giving you different
actually having to
sounds and-
record 4 individual left, right, front, center
Yeah.
bits. They do the same thing pretty much.
Yeah.
No, it was amazing.
Well, Richie, you were about to pull up an album a little bit ago. I think you were about to pull
What do
one
you
up
got
on
there?
top. What do you got over there?
Yeah, I'll go through some of these too. Let's just
band-
bust through some of these fun ones.
Yeah.
A
let's do some
band
of these.
that I don't think got enough recognition here in the States, Uriah Heep.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Right.
More cowbell.
they're
Is that the
they're-
song? Okay.
they're hard
No,
rock
that's,
like
The Reaper. Don't fear the Reaper.
That's,
Reaper.
Blue Oyster
that's
Cult.
Oh, it's Blue Oyster. You're right.
yeah,
Blue
got
Oyster.
him.
Got me.
Got him.
Got the old man.
35 years for that.
But these guys were really big in
Yeah.
Europe,
They're huge.
and they're hard rock, like Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, like that. And
Right.
they're
You don't?
No.
yeah, this
never
album's
listened to
been
Uriah
played
Heep.
many
Yeah.
many times. It's
I like
fucking,
Uriah Heep quite a bit.
Yeah,
What do I got
they're great.
Tommy.
The Who,
Tommy the Who.
This is easily one of my favorite albums.
Isn't
That
there
would be
all-time
the
a movie to
first.
that?
Yes, there was.
Yes, because I've seen that. That's some trippy shit.
That's
I'll
the
tell you that.
first. Oh, the movie was.
Yes.
But yeah, it's the so this
The whole album
It's
in
the
a row,
first
right?
rock opera.
Rock opera. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
where the songs are
Just
telling a story.
continuously,
It's all
yes.
a story about this guy who's
Pinball
deaf, dumb,
wizard.
and blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy.
And
Yeah.
he's a savant at pinball.
Plays a mean pinball.
Yeah.
Which is actually a whole lot more to it than that.
Yeah.
Like that's like the smallest aspect of the
Yeah.
story.
I remember when you guys showed me the movie and I was in like middle
saw the
school.
movie?
You guys showed it to me at the Ida House.
No shit.
We were watching it
Oh,
and being
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'd heard the Deaf Dumb Blind Kid shirt,
Yeah.
you know, and I knew that lyric.
Yeah.
And then he started singing. I'm like, oh my god, this is like a person that
Yeah.
like this whole it blew my mind.
I
Yeah.
love the movie.
I had no
She asked the
idea.
Queen.
I had no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the movie too.
I love
but,
Dan Margaret and all the beans.
I mean, some of the greatest music ever is just in
That's a
this,
phenomenal
in this
album,
one album.
yes.
It's
Yeah.
Mind-blowing.
The Who came through pretty big. And, of course, you know, Roger Daltrey and you had Entwistle was probably, I'm going to say, one of the best, with Lemmy, probably one of the best bass players ever.
Yeah.
oh, he is the best bass player ever. I think.
And it was just, anyway, what's his name on the drums?
Keith Moon.
Keith Moon.
He was a
The best
lunatic.
drummers.
He's
Yeah.
a lunatic.
He was just like very improvisational. That was the whole thing.
All of a sudden, he just kick his drum set off and start doing. Oh my God, he was.
And it was the best part about him. The reason they got so loud was because it was like it became a competition between
Townsend.
Townsend and
Yeah, who could get louder?
who could be louder, right?
Yeah.
Because if you listen to the Who, the bass is actually the lead instrument.
Yeah.
The bass plays lead guitar. The bass is like bam, and he's all over the place. And Pete Townsend's just playing.
You think it's Townsend, but it's not. It's
right,
Entwistle.
which is a weird
Townsend's
thing.
just doing his windmills.
Right. But it became like a competition, like to who could be louder. So like
Yeah.
one would buy another set of speakers the next show, and the next, and they would go, and they actually started going to Marshall and like these manufacturers and telling them like,
I gotta
make
beat 'em."
me a louder amplifier, make me, and it
They used to have the walls, Marshalls.
Okay.
I mean, just a wall.
Wall of
right,
speaker
speakers.
cabinets.
Yeah.
Which, by
just
the way,
like-
if you go to a rock show now and you see that, like it's like, oh,
how
there's
it
all these
started,
speakers behind
yeah.
them. None of those are plugged in.
One
Yeah.
of them is.
There's
Yeah.
one in the back with a microphone on it or an output from it, and that's what you're hearing.
It's for looks.
They just put that up there for looks. But back then, those were
They really-
actually
yeah.
all
That's
plugged in
hilarious.
and
Yeah.
Awesome.
blasted.
How many
Nice.
cables
You,
you got coming out
you
of
see
that?
bands, they got one amp.
Yeah.
Because they'll need, because then they
all you
mic
need.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And it's the same thing I always felt about drummers.
yeah.
And you see these drummers like Van Halen. You know, he's got,
Alex Finney.
yeah, I mean, he's got like 4 bass drums. He's got, I mean, he could swing and not miss a drum.
Yeah. Wherever.
I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I like a guy that's got a regular set
He's
and
making
plays
that
the
happen.
shit out of it.
Yeah. I like
Which-
it.
Pacey from Deep Purple.
Yes, exactly.
Or
You
John
know,
Bonham.
yeah, Bonham was awesome.
Yes.
And Keith Moon.
He didn't need
Yes.
that set he had, but he was good.
Ginger Baker's the ultimate.
Ginger
Baker
thought-
had
he had
a
the top of it.
basic jazz kit. I mean,
Yeah.
he had the most basic drum set, and he's the most
Yeah.
volume. I mean, the guy's insane.
And he played like this. All his drums, you know, they usually have them like this.
Yeah.
He played them flat.
Weird.
You know, it was like
He's a jazz drummer.
He's a jazz drummer.
That's how
Yeah.
jazz drummers work. That's another big album right
So
here.
that's Abbey Road. I know that one.
yeah, Abbey Road.
Famous. Well, so we
It
joke
might be
about
the most famous album cover of all time, potentially. I mean, I even, as a
Yeah.
pretty novice,
Going around the street.
Fan here.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and there's a tie-in to the show too, because I've referred to this before, but if you notice they're all walking, Paul McCartney is not wearing shoes.
gotcha.
And that's why I always call you Paul McCartney,
Yeah.
because you're never wearing shoes on the show.
You know?
So that's
That's
Scott
part,
said it made him feel uncomfortable.
that was part of the story that he had died.
right.
There was
Okay.
a rumor many years ago that Paul McCartney died,
and they replaced him. Right?
and they replaced him with a lookalike.
And that was like a.
And that was one of the signs that he was dead. That number on the VW was supposedly a phone number you could call. There was, in fact, on the back of this one, I think there was
Yeah, there's something on there too.
Paul.
Facing backwards.
He's facing backwards,
Yeah.
so he's dead.
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
I think it was George is pointing to a lyric where it says he blew his mind out in a car or something like that. And
Okay.
And then if you play it backwards, it supposedly.
The white album, yeah.
The white album you play backwards. it
turn me
says-
on, dead man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff like that back in the
necrophilic
day.
stuff,
It was
yeah.
just like, really?
That's wild.
But we were
That's
all
cool,
doing a
though.
lot of drugs back then.
We'll get to Richie's next one in a second, but I'm gonna go right to this one because this one's
Yeah,
got a
cut
cool,
Richie off,
this
man.
one's
Who
got a-
cares? He's
this
just
one-
our guest.
This one's got a cool story too, though.
Yeah.
This one's got a cool story too, though. That goes along with it. This is actually one of my favorite Beatles albums. but this had 2 different covers on it. This is yours, actually.
Yes.
You don't
They
have
released
this.
the album with
I
3
don't have the
different
baby
covers?
one, no.
So this one, and I think it's actually, I think this is one where it's
It might have been covered.
It
might have been covered. The original cover came out.
They had an original cover, and I'll put it up in the video when we edit this. But the original album cover was like freaky. And
Really?
They were all
baby
had like
dolls,
butcher
like pieces,
yeah.
butchered
They had like
apart.
butcher
What the
outfits
hell?
They
on.
were
Yeah.
in butcher coats, and
And they had baby dolls, and they were like butchering them.
like parts of them, like heads and legs, and like it was like
And then they sitting inside of a
No, that came
chest.
later.
No, that's
That
what I'm
was,
saying. Then that's what they replaced it with.
What you're talking about?
That
What
was a
year
little
is
dark.
this?
How about you guys sit in a
60s?
trunk?
it's like some promotional picture they just used instead.
Yeah.
Capitol Records almost flew. I mean, they almost stroked out when they saw that.
Sure, yeah.
Here's this band.
now.
Yeah, I mean that would be weird now.
Yes.
And
Hell
this
yeah,
is
it
back
would.
then.
Yeah.
So they obviously were forced to change it, and they had to do this cover.
So
But a
they-
lot of the albums got out,
Yeah.
were sold, and the rest of them they put like covers over the.
Like a sticker.
Yeah, exactly
if you
over
look
the
at it, you can
original.
see.
It is a sticker.
like a
So
sticker.
what did you get the sticker and then put it on this one, or this was?
No, it was like that.
it
when
was
I got
sold to you
No.
like this.
Yeah.
An original one is very valuable.
Oh, God.
I could imagine it is.
Because they only did release so many before
Yeah.
they changed it, you know.
And it was why? I mean, it's like it's here it's yesterday and today the Beatles and what the hell does dead babies
Yeah, yesterday today.
have to do with all this? I don't know where. Of course, they started using drugs again. Another tie-in. And
started
then
hitting
in the
Easter.
Maharishi and
They had the best drugs,
they
Best
did.
drugs.
probably.
Well, George never stopped. John, actually, the Lucy in the Sky was his son Julian at the time. Made a picture for him, and he couldn't understand it. And he says, "What is it?" And he says, "This is Lucy in the Sky with diamonds." And that's where the name came from.
And that was it. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
People thought it was
crazy
like
as hell.
acid.
Yeah.
No, toddler.
Oh yeah, people always. I remember hearing Paul talk about it. He says it's amazing how people go. Now this is talking about when this song is about this, and he's like, no, we just wrote a song. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
This is not. Hey Jude is about Julian Lennon, and
Yeah, for how prolific the Beatles are, they're like the most humble. Like, ask it, like they're just like, yeah, we just thought it sounded good, and
Yeah.
like they're not like they don't have some sort of huge artistic expression. story
drugs may
behind
have
it.
been involved on some of the lyrics, but it didn't mean what people thought it meant.
Yeah.
People always like to take their own
Yeah.
Oh man, that's just my life. That's
Yeah.
how my life is. Well, it's a coincidence. Sorry.
They didn't make a song about you.
No, they didn't know you.
So,
Exactly.
what do you got next, there, Rich?
Brought UFO Stranger Than the Night.
Oh God, UFO.
It's a live album. Part of it was recorded at the, I believe, the International Amphitheater in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, you don't probably remember that, do you?
I've heard
I
many
do.
stories of it, and I heard it was
It's where the
awesome
Beatles
to see
played
a
in Chicago.
concert at.
Really?
Yeah,
But this is a phenomenal live record.
yeah.
I highly recommend it.
International Amphitheater was like McCormick Place before McCormick Place.
Okay.
So it was a big place where they had Barnum and Bailey would go there, and they'd have shows and concerts, and
Yeah.
it was a garbage place, but it was what we had at the time.
Yeah.
See, to me, that's another awesome thing about albums in that time period is you'd have albums that were live albums and would be that band's biggest, most popular, highest selling album. Kiss Alive,
Yes.
Bob Seger, Live Bullet.
Yeah, because the live
Cheap
wasn't
Trick
recorded
live
live.
at Budokan.
Yep.
Live wasn't recorded live, you said?
No.
What do you mean?
Ted Nugent, full
Double Live Gonzo.
Double Live Gonzo.
And at the time, their producer was trying to get something because Kiss wasn't really big
Yeah.
until their live album came out,
Okay.
and he was trying to get a sound of them live, in concert, and they couldn't. The technology wasn't there, and they couldn't get the sound right where, it sounded like a studio type thing. So they just kind of fibbed it and did a studio album
Actually-
with.
I had heard the truth of the matter too was they sounded too poor.
Yeah, I'm
Because
sure
they
they were
weren't-
pretty raw.
They weren't very good live.
So they were in the studio going like, "How's everybody in Detroit tonight?"
Yeah. And they just
Nobody
added
there.
They just added
the background of guys, everyone cheering and everything.
And
So-
Paul Stanley recorded the bass tracks because Gene Simmons is a terrible bass
well,
player.
actually,
I've heard that before. too, that
Boston.
story,
Do you remember
yeah.
Boston?
Yeah.
The band? That's your time at out,
Yeah.
sort of?
Yeah.
Their first album
Okay.
was one guy who did it in his room with a computer.
Tom Scholes, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was no band.
There's no band.
He just made this album. And then by the time it got so big, they had to do concerts. Well, now I got to get a band. You know, you had to get a band together to do it.
Crazy. I should have known it.
There's all sorts of stuff like that. The band, in fact, a friend of mine I know was in one of them. The song Louie Louie
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
was done by the Kingsmen. That was such a big song.
Yeah. It's a lot of movies still.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a ton of movies.
And everyone thought they were swearing, and they're not. But, you know, even my brothers swore they were, and it's like, no. Anyways, they were so big, they'd get booked in like 5 different places at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So they started hiring bands to be them.
No shit.
Yeah.
How do you get away with that?
So, well, no one knew. No one knew what you looked like.
Yeah,
You didn't.
yeah.
You didn't have
Gallagher did the same thing.
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah.
He has a twin
His brother. Yeah.
and he hired him to like start playing shows and like
Yeah.
split the money and this and that. And then the guy ended up, like his brother ended up screwing him and actually pretended to be him. And like, yeah, it was like a whole, look into that. That's a lot of
That's
fun.
hilarious.
No, it's same. It's how do you know?
Yeah.
And it kills me is how many people today are going like, yeah, man, I saw the Kingsmen back in the day. No, most of you didn't. You know, but it was that one song
Yeah.
that did it.
Yeah.
And that was back when you had the one-hit wonders and stuff. There's a lot of them around.
Yeah.
Because that was all you needed.
Yeah.
That was
We're
it.
done with you.
Well, you know, and
Move on to the next hot
the
thing.
thing I liked though back then is if the song was good, it made it. It made airplay because you only had the radio.
Yeah.
And you know, when MTV came around and videos, I think it screwed up a lot.
Yeah.
Because now, if the video's cool,
yeah,
the record
song's cool.
become popular.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah,
if it was good or not.
Then it started mattering what you look like and not necessarily if you're good at music or
You know, if they had hot girls in it, it's like, oh, and that's its favorite song.
Yeah. You can make anybody sound good on a video.
Yeah.
You know?
You think chicks would have liked Black Sabbath if they saw what they looked like?
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah. No kidding.
Christopher Cross. Come on, these are not the best looking people.
Yeah. All right, Richie. Oh, no, you're next, Rob. Here, let's see what you got.
This is another good one that goes along with the album cover thing. So this is Blind Faith. This was considered a super group of the day because it's Eric Clapton, Steve Winwood, Ginger Baker. So this is basically after Cream, which was Ginger Baker, Jack Bruce,
Yeah,
and Eric
it's
Clapton
basically Cream 2.
broke up. They went and got Steve Winwood and
Rich
Gretsch, and they did this album. And it's the only one they did, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the only Blind Faith album. But this is not the original cover. This is a re-release after. The original cover has a redheaded, very young girl, topless, holding a
Jet.
like silver,
It's like a silver jet.
silver
like a
like
plane.
model of a jet, and she's just like, and she's got this like curly red hair, and it's just completely topless, like little titties, like it's creepy.
You're talking like underage girl.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh
very,
my god.
very underage.
What the hell?
And they were like, we can't, you know,
It's like child
sell this. So
You tell?
pretty much, I mean,
You didn't
she
have a
might
lot
have
of
been
that back
16.
then.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying she was underage. I don't know.
She may have just looked young.
but
I don't know.
It was also totally normal back then to write songs about 16-year-old girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ringo, Kiss,
Yes.
Christine 16, like.
It's weird. Yeah. It wasn't frowned upon as much, I guess.
What you got,
That
Rich?
time
No, I
we got-
didn't care.
Yeah, he-
Motorhead, Another Perfect Day. I always thought the album cover was really cool looking.
I have
Yeah.
to say, even though I wasn't into a lot of them back then, they had awesome covers.
Yeah, they're a 3-piece band. On this album, they were a 4-piece, and I believe it's Brian Robertson from Thin Lizzy plays guitar on here.
Okay.
I didn't know.
They had the nickname Motor Lizzy for a while, but yeah, this is first Motorhead album I had gotten into, and it's one you want to crank very
Yeah.
loud.
Oh, well, most of them
all
you
of them
were,
are,
yeah.
but yeah, it's a good one.
Motorhead was the first really hard
Hard rock
kind of thing I got into. And I went to a Best Buy and they had a greatest hits kind of CD, and I was like, I don't know how I just thought like this would be a good idea, and I bought it, and that was it.
That's
Like,
it.
Motorhead all the way.
Peel the paint off the ceiling and crank the volume, you know?
This is an awesome one. This is one of my favorites, just because the way it looks too.
One of
Again,
my-
they get like kind of like creative with the covers.
My wife's favorite one.
yeah.
Traffic. Low Spark of High Heeled Boys.
This is easily one of my favorite albums of all time too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Traffic, the low spark of high heeled boys, and that's actually the song. On
Don't know
too.
what it means, don't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But this is Steve Winwood.
Yep.
So after Blind Faith, went on to do Traffic. Actually, there's a Traffic song featured in Marvel's Endgame. The movie starts out.
Okay.
The song "Dear Mr. Fantasy." You'd probably be familiar with that.
Yeah,
Dear
if I'd-
Mr. Fantasy, play us a tune.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
That made
saw him
Scott
wince. He
cringe.
winced a little bit. But that's Traffic.
That's Traffic. Sounded like
No, that ain't
a
Traffic.
terrible voice. Is what it sounded like.
He got rich,
I got Judas Priest,
Oh,
Unleashed in the East.
which is awesome. I just listened to that album 2 days ago. It's creepy.
Every song on here just kicks ass.
Yeah.
It's the
What
album,
time frame is this?
late 70s.
Late 70s? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
70s, 80s, yeah.
I always love the album cover.
It's pretty badass.
Yeah,
It says the arrow right there. It just-
definitely.
Yeah.
Heavy metal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That, to the backs it was, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's another band that's being told it's devils worshiping and stuff like that, right? I
Yeah.
mean, just
Well, they go by the name.
yeah.
Loved,
Yeah, they hear this name and they go,
Oh,
oh.
yeah, exactly.
loved Judas Priest.
Yeah,
Always
they're
loved
pretty
Judas
good.
Priest.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Awesome thing about Judas Priest is Rob Halford, the lead singer, was gay, right? Like nobody really knew it. I think in their earlier days. Or
No,
whatever.
they don't
If you
talk
kind of
about
look at the way he dressed, I mean,
Right. And when you listen to some of the songs he wrote, like songs called Jawbreaker,
Turbo Lover,
Turbo Lover,
Punchbacker.
Hell Bent for Leather.
Hell Pepper
Oh,
Leather.
that was a bonus track.
Oh, that was something else. I'm sorry.
that was unreleased stuff.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, I don't know, like I always think about that, and it's like, okay, hard rock, heavy metal, like group of guys, you would think, oh yeah, they're totally not going to be accepting of this guy because he's like, no, nobody cares. Like, dude, he's awesome.
Yeah.
yeah.
No one thought
he
about
likes
it back
dudes,
then.
whatever.
Like,
Well, everyone knew Elton John was gay, but
no one cared.
who cares?
One of the greatest singers ever, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh,
John?
and Freddie
I
Mercury.
was starting to say Freddie Mercury, wasn't that kind of his
He was a
doing?
little light.
He was more both. He was
Yeah.
bi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't he
killed
die
him.
of HIV or something like that? Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
AIDS.
AIDS.
Yeah. Okay, what do you got over there? You got a little Hendrix?
I had to bring this one out because also important. To, what is?
Scott was mocking you. I don't know.
I know.
You did.
I'm sure he's mocking me in some way, but this one's important. This is Jimi Hendrix, "Axis Bold as Love,"
Is that where you got your son's name?
and this is I named my son Axis because
Yeah.
of this. This is one of my favorite albums. This was Hendrix's second album, and just some of the most amazing music.
He really didn't have that many.
No,
They did a lot of mixes of different together and
Yeah,
stuff.
he only did three. He only did like three
Full-length
truly full. Like there was. Since the whole thing.
Oh, geez.
There
yeah.
was
Very cool.
There was a
That's
couple.
cool.
There was a couple that were like live, and what was it the one he did with a different band with a 3-piece, the band of Gypsies,
Yeah.
it wasn't the Hendrix
It was an
experience,
experience, yeah.
band of Gypsies or whatever, but and then died. So
Yeah.
got the most out of Hendrix, but.
Damn Grim Reaper. Always.
Still would have liked to
messing
see
everything
what
up.
he could have
There's a
done.
lot of kids out there that are named Hendrix now because like people are like Jimi Hendrix fans, and I didn't want to just do that.
He was,
And it just there's something about that name. It's like the whole song. It's
he came up the hard way. That
Hendrix
dude did. Yeah.
Yeah.
He,
From a poor
He
family.
was
or
in the
something?
army.
Okay.
a paratrooper.
and
wow.
when he started
Wow.
doing music,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
no one cared about him here. You know, he was like, "What this guy playing with his teeth and stuff like that?" It's like, come on.
He's
And
playing a bluesy sound.
yeah, it
Wasn't
was
real
blues
popular
rock.
at the time,
Yeah. He went over to England
where blues was really popular.
and got popular with, Clapton loved him. All these guys loved him. They did make a mistake and put him as a warm-up to the Monkees. Again, another concert that was like not thought about.
Yeah.
Monkees did not like that. They were like, get off the stage. And then he came back, of course, and was big. He was an amazing guitar player, obviously. He was another band was really big on was Chicago.
Okay.
From the beginning. I went and saw them. That was at Airy Crown when their second album, the Silver album, came out. And they were tried to play more like a jazz band. The drummer was up front and the horns and everything. Terry Kath, who was their original guitar player, was, yeah, I mean, it was almost probably, well, Hendrix used to say he was better than him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He taught Hendrix to use a wah-wah pedal, which Hendrix never heard of before.
Yeah.
Like
gives
you
you
tell the
some-
guys the
Crybaby.
pedals, and they rock it back and forth, and it changes the sound of the guitar.
Yeah. And he always said that he thought he was a much better guitar player than him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, again, he died young. And, of course, he put a bullet in his head, but that was something else.
Yeah.
But I was always a fan of them because I liked
Okay.
the music they did. They did the long songs, more jazzy type stuff, the horns. Now that they think that's all they are, I've grown up but I digress.
Yeah. What do you got next over there?
Self-titled Kiss album.
Okay.
Heard them.
The first one, yep.
Very first album.
Very
okay.
first one.
Boy, everyone thought they were nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you look at that. What's the year on that?
I want to say 70. I want to say 74.
Could be.
Let me see here.
Let's see if Rob's been gotten.
73.
Oh, he's way off.
Way off.
Do you even know them?
78.
Yeah, I think it was like.
Do you even know them?
I'm gonna say
You ever heard of
78.
Kiss?
Do you even know Kiss?
I was out of high school in '78.
I'm gonna grab some more
No,
logs
they
here.
didn't.
We got the
Longest.
probably the most successful album of all time.
Yep.
Other than it's Thriller, Michael Jackson's Thriller, and this.
This is still on the charts.
Really?
Is it really?
Yep.
Wow.
It's the longest, the one album that's been on the charts longer
Oh,
than
no.
anything else. They, I forget what, how many years they've been on the Billboard Top 100.
It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, it just never came off. And it's just, well, obviously their biggest album.
Well, it's another. I would call it kind of a concept album too.
Yeah.
In a way, like
In a way.
the songs all
Well.
kind of link. Oh, we had band Pinion out a couple weeks ago, and one of the songs they played was "Time"
Oh, yeah.
from this album. We played a clip of it from that. Yeah, what a huge album. I remember the first time listening to it.
Yeah, I do too.
There's very few albums that I remember the first time listening to them. I remember
Yeah.
where it was the first time I listened to that album. It was just like,
It's funny, back when, the first time we heard them was on AM radio. Back when, didn't have FM. Or it was considered underground. And they used to, that one song at I think, is it Time? That don't do any of that do goody good bullshit?
no, that's money.
Money. And you never heard that on AM radio. They always blocked that out. And it wasn't until FM came along that you could hear it. FM was, the first time was albums you never heard before. They were underground. It was all this it's good stuff.
You said FM?
FM radio.
That was all underground?
Yeah. In the
Okay.
beginning.
Yeah.
AM was the ticket. You had two big stations here, WLS and WCFL. They played all the top 10 hits.
Yeah.
That's what was popular. And then when FM came around, and then now we got to get all new stereos for our cars. And XRT was actually one of the first stations I ever listened to.
Really?
Was they were considered underground. They'd play albums like that or whatever. So it was changed a lot of music for people.
Yep. So we do want to take a quick break here. I went to go get the firewood and.
That didn't shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, barefoot.
Of course you did.
Right between the toes.
Of course you did. I tried to pick up.
I was like, I gotta go find a towel in his garage now.
Oh no.
Oh man, it was fun.
It's all right. You found my jacket in there to use. So
Yeah. No.
No, I tried to do a pickup, but we got all these leaves all over, so it's like
they're
the
hidden.
camo, dude. It's
I was pretty
bottom.
sure it was like the last step I took. I was like, oh no.
It probably warmed your foot up a little bit.
I had to turn my mic off. I turned my mic off. I was gonna get nasty. We're gonna have to turn the mic off here.
Harley's been sitting there waiting for it. She's watching. She's like, I just laid
they're
that.
gonna need more firewood soon.
See how long before they find
I
out.
hope that barefoot moron walks over there. All right, back to you.
The joys of barefoot.
Yeah.
I think Paul McCartney was stepping in shit walking across the road.
No, he probably hired someone to clean his path of shit before he walked around.
Somebody.
I brought the Anthrax Among the Living. I actually got this album signed by the band at Rolling Stone Records in Norwich.
yeah.
Stone.
That's bad.
That was, I don't know, freshman or
think that's
sophomore in
there
high
anymore.
school.
No,
No.
know that it is.
No.
I think it is still.
Is it?
It might
Is
be.
it
Yeah,
over there still?
I think so, yeah.
Could be.
What are they selling in there now? Selling vinyl
Records,
still?
yeah, they got
They
a lot
still
of
got
vinyls,
vinyl's coming back.
shirts, like,
Yeah, I
kind
guess.
of music.
Memorabilia and shit. Yeah.
You and had your
movie
picture with that.
selection, they
And
got all that
porn.
stuff there.
And porn.
They do sell porn there. Yeah, I did get my. Yeah, I met Ozzy Osbourne there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Didn't
right.
you and Joe go?
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
That is pretty cool. Gotta be Ozzy. Shit.
That's when I had my blonde hair.
Yeah.
It's my Billy Idol days.
Had the big glasses.
Other than length, my hair never changed.
No, yeah.
I don't know. His kid would always dye his hair, and
Not really.
till he let it grow.
And then he had it grow really
And
long.
then he had
It
the
was like golden color.
he had that
before I
Jesus look going on.
Golden boy.
Golden boy. Are you anything else? We out? We got a show and tell us?
I got, what here? I got one more.
We'll start wrapping this baby up here in a second.
Metallica, Ride the Lightning.
Oh yeah.
The big jam on there, or what a couple of the main hits?
For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fade to Black, Trapped Under Ice, Fight Fire with Fire, Call of Cthulhu.
He's gonna read off all the songs down there.
I've got them memorized.
Yeah,
They are right here, but
don't have to
I'm
read
a
nothing.
pretty big Metallica fan, so yeah,
So
that's always a go-to.
it took me a little longer to get into some of that stuff because my dad never had those records. He didn't have the heavy metal. He didn't have the you did have some Oz. I mean, yeah,
I'm thinking
Ozzy,
Black
obviously.
Sabbath,
but like
you
didn't have like Metallica and Megadeth and
No.
Motorhead.
Satan's
and,
friend, or what
Right.
was? No, it was the one. It was Lucifer's friend. I don't know why people
Megadeth.
thought they were a devil thing.
Isn't that when I brought Megadeth?
Megadeth,
Megadeth,
right?
yeah.
right.
Love them. Peace sells, but who's buying?
Yeah,
He didn't have any of that stuff. It took me a little while to like get into that. I kind of had to find that stuff. Yeah, because I never listened to any music, and then I'll actually maybe we'll end on this or whatever. We'll both tell a story about when we remember like the first time really grasping onto this music, because I can remember what it was. It was when we would have Christmas. We would always have Christmas parties at our house in the basement, right? And it would usually be like the Saturday before. We would be cleaning the basement, getting it ready. Me, you, and Mom downstairs, doing whatever. And you'd be playing some records. And at that time, I'm a kid, and I'm like, oh, the Dad's old music. This isn't cool at all. I didn't want to listen to any of it, and I would just, But I'm sitting there listening to these songs, and I'm like, this is actually kind of cool. And I actually remember the first song that I really remember liking you playing was "Devil with a Blue Dress." Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels.
yeah.
For some reason, that song, and I'd always ask you to play it whenever
Yeah.
we'd clean the basement, to play that song.
Yeah.
And then I think you probably put on a Queen album or something,
Might have.
and just like Genesis, obviously, Chicago, and then it just kind of snowballed from there, And I was a kid that wasn't the most social kid in the world. I spent a lot of time learning how to play bass in the basement and listening to records. And I had this huge collection at my disposal. And it just opened up this whole world to me. That's why I listen to music that's outside of my time period, really, because I didn't listen to music, and this was what I had to listen to.
Yeah.
No, it was, well, anytime.
And while Richie goes to tell a little story for his, I want you to sign the X here tonight, Scott. So be careful. It's got no guard on it. Don't cut yourself. Ow! Don't drop it on my toes. Try to find a spot in there somewhere. I know in the yellow there's more room than maybe others, but I
think we're gonna need a new one.
No, I think we're about there.
Yeah. Although we did figure that we're well into season 2 by now of the show, right? Year 2. So we probably should get another X for the new season.
It's about time. People are having to really get creative with finding some space on there.
No, I gotta tell you a story.
What do you got?
Because you can relate.
Yeah.
When he started listening to my music, of course, we had no problem with it. We're upstairs and we're like, hey, he's playing good music.
Yeah.
And not crap. Oh. Joe didn't. Back then. Yeah. I think Joe was doing a lot of rap and stuff like that.
Or Biggie and Tupac, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I actually talked to your mom one time. And she told me, I'm so glad Robert's hanging around with Joe now because she's got him listening to
other music.
Good music.
Yeah.
And she was very grateful to him coming around.
Yeah.
Which is probably the only time your mother ever said
I'm that.
Grateful. You're a good influence on my son.
Took that back.
Yes.
Well,
everything else is I was the bad influence.
But I do remember those days because Joe definitely was pretty hardcore rap, and then all of a sudden took a strong turn toward the rock. And
it killed your mom too. Gosh. Nice to be on here.
Richie's already got his signature on this bad boy quite a while ago.
We still listen to that stuff too.
Yeah.
But
not me.
And then Richie, what about do you remember like a song or a moment when you're like, man, this music is for me?
I was young.
Yeah.
And I didn't like any of the rap stuff or the pop music by any means. And I just fell into it because what my dad listened to. Anything from Leonard Skinner, Iron Maiden, Zeppelin, Slayer, Megadeth. I got into all that, AC/DC. I mean, it just got my ear right away. And I was young, 10, 11, 12 years old, and I haven't looked back since. I still follow all those bands. I love them, and I'm getting into other bands I haven't heard of from that time, back then. I like a lot of stuff from the 50s and 60s too, big time, and it's just something that catches your ear, if it's got a good sound to it, a good beat,
I feel like it's those like transformative years in your life when like you hear something and it's like forever now. It's gonna like be part of you, and you'll remember where you were when you first heard it, or it's kind of always stuck in your head.
Can't explain it.
Yeah.
There's no science behind it.
Yeah.
There's no formula for it. It's just
what you like.
It just happens.
You hear some of those songs too, it puts you back into a place. You remember somewhere where you first heard that song, or like the smells around you, or very nostalgic with some of this stuff. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, when you were cleaning the shit off of your foot.
Yeah.
I was talking about Dark Side of the Moon. And I can remember where I was. I remember I was at Phil DeSantis's lake house in Wisconsin, and I was the first time we got there, I'd fall asleep and I had earbuds or headphones on, and I was just listening to that album.
Yeah.
Falling asleep, and I was just blown away.
Yeah.
What am I listening to?
Yeah. Especially in headphones.
Yeah.
Another band like that was I think Steely Dan had a good with Asia. You put the headphones on and it's just an amazing sound.
Yeah, see, that was always the thing. It's it's actually kind of come back now with beats. Headphones are really the best.
Some high quality.
It's the best.
Yeah.
You're going to hear something.
Well, it's right in your freaking ear tubes.
And you hear it properly.
But all right, we're going to wrap this one up. I want to say thank you to JPL. We've been blocking his sign all night. O'Sullivan Landscaping. We'll have them fight it out.
Yeah, we have to battle with the landscape that's going on right now to see. Yeah, that they're battling for sign supremacy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, great guys. They helped us out, got us a bunch of wood also, and help clear some stuff out here.
Yep.
Really appreciate it.
And JPL, give them a call here if you need some snow removal here in the upcoming months. I know they do a ton of snow removal, so give them a call. JPL, they're out of Elmhurst. I want to say thank you as well to More Brewing Company. We just did that episode on Halloween over at Fuel and Creme in Villa Park, so I always want to give them a shout out. Angel Fancy, thanks for the signs. We love using them. And yeah, anyone else you missed? Appreciate the support. York Furrier. We're going to be doing something for York Furrier.
It's on your head.
It's on my head, yes.
We just got our hats back, actually.
Yep,
We had
nice and conditioned.
sent them out, and they
Yep.
got them cleaned up nice for us and conditioned and all that stuff. So I got to get some heads. Hey, if anybody out there knows, message me or send me something. If anybody's got any like doll heads or whatever,
Doll heads.
like a fake head to put the hats on.
The
they're
hell
not
are you
just-
talking about? Like a mannequin
told
head?
you.
Like a mannequin head, not a doll's head.
Well, like a
I was trying to warn you guys about it. But
Yeah,
you know,
that
listen,
album cover got him all, freaked out. All the baby parts and stuff. I don't know. It's on his brain now. I don't know.
I don't want to be on any show anymore with him or Joe.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause you guys just rip
To
me.
ridicule you.
Yeah, well,
This is low hanging fruit, man. It's so easy.
I haven't been out for a long time, so
Yeah.
Mike, I gotta, take it when I can get it.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to get his fill while he's out here now.
That's right. And so it's getting colder too. So York Furrier,
Yep.
everybody
Going over there. We're gonna be doing a little commercial for them. We're gonna be filming something up in Michigan.
got some ideas.
Yeah, we got a couple ideas. I want to do a little something for them, so hopefully they're impressed by our advertisement we're gonna make for them.
And
Oh,
one quick shout out to Festivus is coming.
Festivus is coming.
Festivus
You're gonna
is
need to
coming.
make a post about that
I gotta
eventually, guy.
Yeah. Well, I'll say it right now.
Yeah.
We're doing New Year's.
New Year's
New
Eve.
Year's Festivus. So it'll be on New Year's Eve.
Yep.
So all you people with no plans on New Year's, watch the show, check it out.
Come on out.
Yeah.
We're gonna be doing an episode. We're gonna be filming a bunch of stuff here, all the shenanigans, piecing that one together. I don't know if we're gonna do any live bits. We probably do a little bit of live stuff there that night, but we got some big stuff coming up. I got a really sweet Bigfoot episode coming up on the horizon, December 19th. I got a bunch of really in-depth people with studying Bigfoot and all this stuff coming in on Zoom calls from all over the country. So I've been talking to Kevin Patrick about that, the guy that set us up over at Fuel and Creme, and he's got 3 panelists already, all from around the country that are big experts on the Sasquatch. So that's going to be fun as well. I want to say thank you to my brother Brandon back there tonight, taking the 1s and 2s back on the camera.
Yeah, allowing me to be able to sit up here
Yep.
and hang out with you.
So we need him tonight.
So that's very nice. Thank you, Brandon.
Yep.
Festivus, just don't show your mom drinking bong water again.
Yeah. No, we only bring that up every Festivus. We just talk about it now. Yeah.
It's tough to watch.
Yeah. It's tough for her to watch, I think, too.
I'll
as
bet.
well. Yeah.
So for more information, go to my camera, Brandon, I'm on my camera. For more information on all of this great music, consult your local library.
There you go. Get a library card. Yep. Get your pet spayed and neutered as well.
Look on the internet.
And keep stoking those fires, as always. And we'll see you real soon. Bonfire Banter. Signing out.
Did you get it? Damn it. That's my clap.
Thanks for watching the episode. Thank you to everyone that's been subscribing, liking, commenting. Keep doing that. It means the world to us. Did want to say thank you to all of our amazing sponsors. York Furrier. If you're looking for fine outerwear and furs, go check them out in Elmhurst, right on York Road. More Brewing Company. If you're looking for interesting, creative craft brews and food, go check them out in Villa Park and Huntley. JPL Landscaping and Property Services. They've given us this fantastic firewood once again, so they're going to be keeping us warm for quite a while. Thank you so much, Jim. Mike's and Casey's Meat Markets. Well, we love their meats. That's as simple as it gets there. Thank you guys for your support as well. Jay and Jill Create, you guys are part of the family. Really appreciate everything you've done for us. Claremont Collections, the most impressive private car collection in the city. It is a museum. Go check them out. Consume cannabis. If you're going to consume cannabis. And then Angel Fancies is our newest sponsor, giving us this fantastic new sign. Check it out. Beautiful stuff. She does custom signs, shirts, everything else. Anything you need printed, check them out on Spring Road in Elmhurst. And as always, the Basement Boys. We love you guys. Bunch of crazies there. We love them. Bonfire Banter, keep watching. Thank you so much to everyone supporting us. Keep stoking those fires.